You're listening to a story on the Wolf channel. Enjoy the story. I transmigrated into a novel about a fake and real heiress. The fake heiress, Arian, tried to ruin me using her mean girl system, but I wasn't afraid. I had a text editing system of my own to counter hers. In the original plot, Arian activated her mean girl system, acting weak and crawling into her mother's embrace. I changed the word embrace to lap. Arian flinched and crawled under her mother's tight mini skirt. I covered my eyes. The scene was part affection, part cultural humiliation, and honestly quite uncomfortable. Only my absurd luck could make something like this happen. I transmigrated as the female lead of a fake real heiress novel, with a bonus, a system that lets me edit the script. The system told me I could only return home if I changed the tragic fate of the original female lead. In the original story, once the real daughter was found and brought home, the parents blatantly favored the fake sister. Under the disgusting manipulations of the fake, the real daughter ended up in a mental hospital, poisoned and eventually killed. I found it bizarre. The real daughter has finally been brought home. Shouldn't the parents be making up for all those lost years? Why would they let her be tormented like that? What is she, some supermarket freebie thrown in with a purchase? In every fake real heiress plot, the worst part is always the birth parents. Completely clueless. My system reminded me that in this version, the fake heiress possesses a mean girl system. It makes everyone sympathize with her. Even her love interests are expert actors in this melodrama. No worries. It's not a big problem. Just watch, my text editing system will make her life hell. As I was thinking, the fake sister Arian flashed me a sly grin. Then right in front of me, she pretended to twist her ankle and fell dramatically down the stairs, screaming pitifully. Our mother heard the noise and rushed over. Arian's eyes turned red immediately. This trick never goes out of style. According to the original plot, Arian would accuse the female lead. She'd cry with trembling lips and ask why I pushed her. The female lead would insist she didn't do it. The mother wouldn't believe her. Then she'd punish the female lead by making her sleep in the storage room. I raised my hand toward Mom and said this had nothing to do with me. Did she believe me? Of course not. Enchanted by the mean girl system, Mom saw Arian looking pitiful and immediately got angry with me. Olivia, how were you raised? Your little sister fell and you didn't even help her up? What a biased mother who can't tell right from wrong. This kind of character perfectly fits my old-fashioned impression of moms in those heiress novels, both real and fake. According to the plot, Arian falls down the stairs, triggering the mean girl system. She weakly runs her hand through her messy hair, grits her teeth in pain, and braces herself against the wall to stand up. She trembles and says, "Mom, sis didn't push me on purpose, I just wasn't careful." I didn't care if her line made sense. I quickly changed the wall to the floor. Suddenly, Arian's body moved as if out of her control. She stood up quickly, both hands on the ground. Her whole body was weak, doing a handstand on the stairs. She even let go of one hand to brush her hair back. Balancing her entire body on one hand, she still didn't forget to recite her line, "Mom, sis didn't push me on purpose, I just wasn't careful." Marvel superheroes must have possessed her. Even Arian didn't know what was happening. Her expression said she wanted to cry but couldn't. Mom stood frozen at the top of the stairs, mouth open at this unbelievable sight, completely ignoring Arian's obvious lie. I clapped and told Mom, "Mom, with skills like that, little sis clearly doesn't need my help. If she's not in the Olympic gymnastics team this year, I'm not even gonna watch." To make things worse, she was wearing a one-piece dress. When she did the handstand, her whole dress flipped up, revealing her underwear. Arian blushed, and just as she was holding herself up, her hand cramped and gave out. She collapsed straight onto Mom beside her. A loud thud followed. Mom and Arian collided, one's head hitting the other's leg. It looked tragic. Mom was crushed under Arian, in so much pain she probably felt her bones were shattering. Dad walked in, clueless about the situation, and saw Arian and Mom in a bizarre position. He froze, then immediately rushed forward, pulled them apart, and shouted angrily, "How could you two be doing something that goes against all moral and social norms?" Although I'd already pranked her once, I knew with Arian's personality, there was no way she'd let it go. Since I had just been brought back from the orphanage, Dad thought I lacked real-world experience and especially took me to the equestrian club to learn horseback riding. Of course, Arian wouldn't let a great opportunity like this slip by. Of course, I'm not going to act like some ignorant fool. Arian glanced at me with deliberate sarcasm and mockery. She had stolen the resources that originally belonged to the real heiress by taking her place, and now she had the nerve to mock her? Ridiculous. Luckily she ran into me. If it had been an average heiress, I doubt she'd be able to handle Arian. Arian planned to take this opportunity to activate her mean girl system and show off her advanced horseback riding skills in front of our parents, hoping for praise and aiming to crush the real heiress's confidence. She looked at me with a smug smile and said, "Sis, horseback riding is really easy. Even an idiot could learn it right away. Let me show you how it's done." According to the original storyline, Arian was supposed to tighten her legs, leap gracefully onto the horse, and ride off like a pro. But too bad for her, I'm not letting her trample over me so easily. Let's see how she handles my edit. I changed the word ride to carry. Instantly, Arian clamped her legs together, bent down, and crouched low. She grabbed the horse's front legs and threw them over her shoulders, then hoisted its butt with both hands and carried the horse, running full speed like a circus act gone rogue. It was truly a large-scale performance. The riding instructor was stunned. The horse was stunned. Dad was completely stunned. While Dad stood there with his jaw on the floor, I calmly explained, "Maybe she dreams of being a circus performer." Arian returned from her lap completely exhausted, her legs trembling. Dad, utterly embarrassed, walked away without saying a word. Seeing Arian with grass all over her clothes and horse saliva in her hair, I couldn't help but laugh. At this point, if she went to audition for a movie, she wouldn't even need a costume change. Realizing that Dad had already left, she dropped the act and revealed her true face to me. The revised storyline reads, Arian was furious and humiliated. She lifted her leg to kick me and yelled insults. "You're just an orphan from some welfare home, and you dare laugh at me?" Since she didn't have the strength to kick me, I kindly helped her out. I changed kick to crawl. Arian angrily dropped to the ground, her hands and knees on the floor, crawling toward me. As she crawled, she shouted, "You're just an orphan from some welfare home, and you dare laugh at me. What the hell is going on with me?" Arian suddenly realized she was crawling toward me like a turtle, letting out a high-pitched screech. I heard her mumbling in the corner, "System, are you glitching or something? Why the hell did I just carry a horse on my back? You don't know either? Then what use are you? Go investigate now." I scoffed coldly. Let her investigate. Even if she finds something, there's nothing she can do to me. After all, my system is far more advanced than hers. Feeling humiliated, Arian vowed to regain her dignity at my expense. She invited me to a tea party with her close group of friends. She claimed it was to help me fit in, but it was obvious she wanted to use the opportunity to warn me. I overheard them outside the door loudly scheming about how they were going to set me up. "Ari, don't worry. We'll back you up all the way. You're a real sweetheart. You've lived peacefully in that house for over 10 years, now she thinks she can just show up and share? Based on what? That useless Olivia wants to compete for affection too? We need to teach her a lesson. Show her what her place really is." Every one of them was a young lady from some elite family. And yet they didn't feel even a little embarrassed about forming a mean girl gang. I walked into the luxurious restaurant lobby, and their eyes were full of contempt and disgust. In the original storyline, the female lead had dressed up carefully to blend into this group. But in the end, she got tea poured all over her by Arian's friends, looking utterly pathetic and humiliated. The original script said, Arian activated the mean girl system. She gently bit her lower lip and lowered her gaze in a way that made people feel sorry for her. She walked up to Olivia and said kindly, "It's not her fault she was switched at birth. Stop bullying her." Her friends would say meaningless things like, "You're so kind," and then turn around to mock the female lead. I changed the word walked to rolled. Arian leisurely rolled over. In front of everyone, her legs turned to jelly, and her whole body curled up like a wheel. She rolled to me. The red lace panties under her white dress were also accidentally exposed. Very fashionable. She looked up and delivered her line. "That's right, it's not her fault she was switched at birth. Stop bullying her." This unexpected change stunned her friends. What is Arian doing? These were all girls from wealthy families, and even the younger siblings at home wouldn't roll around on the floor like this. Arian's behavior made them deeply disgusted. One hot-tempered girl snapped, "Arian, are you out of your mind? Can't you just stand up and talk? This is so embarrassing." As she spoke, she reached out to pull Arian up. The original plot wrote, "The girl pulled Arian up." I changed the word pulled to pooped. After doing it, I couldn't help but shudder. I'm really wicked. The girl who was originally about to pull Arian up suddenly had a severe stomachache. She couldn't hold it in anymore, and something indescribable landed straight on Arian's face. Horrified, I stepped back repeatedly. The other girls froze in shock, and Arian's scream echoed through the hall. Her helpless hands flailed around while the girl with diarrhea cried hysterically, "Don't come near me. Get away, ah." The others had never witnessed anything like this in their lives. Screams continued to echo through the lobby. "Security, where's security? Hurry, throw both of them out. That's disgusting." As I was leaving, I overheard the receptionist whispering about the whole incident. From that day on, this restaurant had a new story to tell. Arian ran to a nearby hotel to rent a room and clean herself up. If it hadn't been for the pitiful mean girl system, the hotel manager would have kicked her out. Furious, she yelled at her system, "Useless thing. You still haven't figured out the cause? You want me to keep embarrassing myself like this? If there's a bug, fix it. What a trash system." I had watched her pathetic show from beginning to end. After returning home, she blamed me for the fight with her friends. Arian used up 2 bottles of body wash and shampoo, but the stench still lingered. Seeing her depressed, Mom asked coldly, "What happened?" I was about to be the storyteller and recount the whole situation when Arian burst into tears and spoke first. "Mom, don't blame my sister. She had no other choice. It's all my fault. I stole the life she was supposed to have. It makes sense she would treat me this way." I flipped through the updated storyline. It read, Arian activated the mean girl system. With innocent eyes, she looked at Mom, held her hand, and said, "Mom, if my existence causes trouble for my sister, I'm willing to leave." Mom would pat her head, say she's the sweetest, most obedient little angel, and then scold me for being an unreasonable big sister who bullies her just because she's the real daughter. I replaced the word held with sucked. Arian activated her system, and with eyes so guilt-ridden even a killer would feel sorry for her, she looked at Mom. Then she grabbed her hand and stuffed all 10 fingers into her mouth. I may have changed the script, but I truly didn't expect Arian's small mouth to have such potential. Mom's hand is huge, yet Arian managed to fit nearly the whole thing inside. That mouth is clearly a bottomless pit. While sucking on Mom's fingers like she was begging, she mumbled, "If my existence causes trouble for my sister, I'm willing to leave." Just moments before, Mom had been fertilizing the garden. Her hand still had some nutrients on it, and the smell was overpowering. I stood off to the side, gagging nonstop. The expressions on both their faces looked like they were severely constipated. Even the maid passing by was stunned. She pulled me aside and asked, "What on earth is going on?" I told her they were just acting out a touching mother-daughter moment. "Ari, why are you sucking on my hand? That's disgusting. Let go." Mom screamed, struggling to pull away. Finally, Arian's jaw relaxed, and Mom yanked her hand back. There was no way to cover this up with gentle words anymore. Arian threw up. I covered my nose and stepped back a few paces. "Don't drag me into this." Although she didn't understand her adoptive daughter's disgusting actions, Mom still went along with the original plot. Her hand was supposed to gently stroke Arian's face, pat her head, and say, "Don't say such things. My little Ari isn't a burden. Ari is my warm, little cotton-padded jacket. My baby, my sweetheart, Mommy loves you the most." I changed the word hand to foot. Mom's expression suddenly softened with tenderness and pride. She kicked off her slippers, pulled off her socks, raised her leg, and pressed her pedicured foot with bright red toenails onto Arian's face. Arian was on the verge of tears, trying to escape, to run. But her body felt paralyzed, frozen in place. She screamed, "Mom, please don't." But Mom's body was just as out of control. Her size 8 foot came down and rubbed Arian's head while she repeated, "Don't say such things. My little Ari isn't a burden. Ari is my warm, little cotton-padded jacket. My baby, my sweetheart, Mommy loves you the most." The maid and I both gasped in shock. After all, for someone Mom's age to pull off a high leg lift like that? Impressive. She still had it. Arian was a clean freak and couldn't stand anyone's feet touching her face. She panicked and shoved Mom away. Mom fell to the floor unconscious. Blood gushed from the back of her head. The maid rushed to call an ambulance, and Arian was terrified. When Dad asked what happened at the hospital, Arian looked at me. The original story described her expression as a face with 3 parts weakness and 7 parts innocence. She pitifully walked toward Dad, took his hand, and said, "Dad, if it weren't for her, Mom wouldn't have ended up like this." Because of this one line, Dad would lock the female lead in the basement for a whole month. Arian would feed her spoiled rice, causing her to develop acute gastroenteritis. She'd blame me for everything she caused. But I wouldn't be framed this time. I changed the word took to licked. She lowered her head and licked Dad's hand as she said, "Dad, if it weren't for her, Mom wouldn't have ended up like this." Dad jerked his hand back in shock, asking her to stand up properly when speaking. He even asked if she was sick. But she kept licking along his hand as if her tongue were bound to it. Dad couldn't understand why his obedient daughter, whom he'd always adored, would do something so insulting. His wife was still in a coma, and no matter how hard he tried to stop Arian, she wouldn't listen. Frustrated, for the first time in his life, he had the urge to hit someone. He just wanted her to stop making a scene and shut her mouth. In the original storyline, Dad gritted his teeth and slapped Arian once. But I changed that 1 to 10. Dad acted quickly, landing 10 slaps across Arian's face, but she didn't even stop licking his hand mid-slap. While he hit her, she kept licking like she was enjoying it. The maid was shocked all over again. I stared blankly at Arian's expression, not sure whether she was laughing or crying. Did she enjoy that? This bizarre art performance dragged on until Mom finally woke up. The maid, being honest, didn't lie. She told Dad about how Mom had fallen. His face darkened. Arian, with a swollen face, tried to fake illness so Dad would feel sorry for her and stop holding her accountable. She acted all sweet beside Mom's hospital bed, pretending to care, but really she was just trying to make me look heartless and highlight her own affection for the family. In the original storyline, it said, Arian activated her mean girl system. Her face turned as white as paper, tears streamed down her cheeks, and she leaned weakly into her mother's arms, saying, even though Ari isn't feeling well either, just being with you, sharing this moment, is enough for me. Mom, of course, would feel hurt seeing that I didn't shed a single tear, and she'd punish me by making me kneel in the hospital room until she was discharged. But I changed, leaned to, jumped. Arian's forehead was sweating. She flipped the blanket off, suddenly bounced up like a carp, spun 360 degrees in the air, and launched herself into Mom's arms. Mom's body couldn't handle the sudden impact. She coughed up blood and fainted on the spot. Meanwhile, Arian was still delivering her line, even though Ari isn't feeling well either, just being with you, sharing this moment, is enough for me. Dad screamed, Doctor! Help! She's killing her! Furious, Dad kicked Arian out of the hospital and forbade her from seeing Mom again. He ordered her to stay home and reflect on her behavior, basically grounding her. Even the maid was reassigned elsewhere. With no one left to watch her act, Arian had tons of bizarre tricks but no audience to perform for. Bored out of her mind, she ended up arguing with her system. Still, she hadn't given up. She believed she still had a shot at turning the tables. Holen Ram, the young master of the Ram family and the male lead of the story, had a cold and gentle personality. He was the dream guy of countless women and the man Arian longed for day and night. But to Holen Ram, Arian was nothing more than a little sister. The Ram family found out that the female lead had been taken back in by the Bruce family, so they sent Holen Ram over to discuss marriage arrangements, specifically, who would be chosen as the bride. To be honest, Holen Ram was incredibly handsome. I almost got a little flustered just looking at him. But no, absolutely not. I'm a career-focused woman. A female lead should never be swayed by a man. In the original story, Arian was terrified that Holen Ram might fall for the female lead. She feared the female lead might steal her position as his fiancée. So during dinner, she deliberately made the female lead eat seafood, something she was allergic to, hoping to trigger a reaction that would embarrass her in front of everyone. That way, Holen Ram would be disgusted and the Ram family would see her as unworthy. This time, Arian followed the same plan. She told the chef to add seafood sauce. In the original plot, it said Arian slowly poured the seafood sauce into the soup and stirred it with a spoon. This sauce was specially made by the top chef. It goes perfectly with the soup. You've probably never tried it before, it's delicious. I scoffed. Oh please, not a chance. And then I changed the word spoon to head. Arian slowly poured the seafood sauce into the soup, picked up the spoon to stir, but then suddenly froze. Her whole body locked up, and she threw the spoon away. She tried to call her system for help, but the words got stuck in her throat, she couldn't speak. Right in front of everyone, she lowered her head, and dunked it straight into the soup, right in front of Holen Ram. She stirred the soup with her head, round and round and round. Sauce splattered all over the table. She flailed and looked like she was about to cry, but her body wouldn't obey her. Crying and sputtering, she still delivered her line, this sauce was specially made by the top chef. It goes perfectly with the soup. You've probably never tried it before, it's delicious. Holen Ram sat there stunned, confusion flickering in his eyes. Dad's worst fear had finally come true. He had always suspected there was something mentally off about Arian. Now he was trying to find the right words to explain her condition to Holen Ram. Holen Ram thought for a moment. Arian had always been sweet and obedient, but now she was acting completely different, so he figured someone must have forced her into this. He cut Dad off mid-sentence, turned and gave me a long, meaningful look. Then, with a smug expression, he said to me, if Miss Olivia still wishes to marry me, then stop provoking Ari. Ari is innocent. The Ram family won't accept a jealous daughter-in-law. I was speechless. Did this man even hear himself? When did I ever say I wanted to marry him? Why is he so full of himself? I finally encountered a true idiot. In the original storyline, it said, Holen Ram gently wiped Arian's face with a handkerchief and said, Ari, don't be afraid. You're the daughter of the Bruce family. No one can take your place. Alright then, if that's how it is, don't blame me for being ruthless. I changed the word handkerchief to sock. Father couldn't believe his eyes as he watched Holen Ram crawl under the table, roll up his pant leg, and take off one of his pink socks, revealing a very hairy leg. It was blinding. Why did the male lead have leg hair? At this point, Arian also stood up. Her hair was soaked in sauces and leafy greens, like someone had dumped an entire pot of kitchen waste on her. Holon Ram, holding his sweaty pink sock that reeked of feet, began to wipe Arian's entire face with it. He didn't miss a single detail, not even her nostrils or the corners of her mouth. He spoke gently, "Ari, don't be afraid. You're the daughter of the Bruce family. No one can take your place." Arian's expression was one of sheer resistance. She screamed, "Help! Somebody help me!" But Holon kept wiping her face for 5 whole minutes. The waiters nearby looked at them with extremely complicated expressions. "I egged on my father, Dad. Mr. Holon really cares about his sister. They're a perfect match. Please don't stand in the way of their love." The system was lifted. It was the first time Arian experienced the sensation of having a Prince Charming wipe her nose and mouth with a stinky sock. She didn't take it well. Overwhelmed, she collapsed to the floor. Father called in the family doctor to carry her away. Holon Ram snapped out of it, threw the sock into the trash can nearby, and looked around in embarrassment. If word got out about this, his dream guy image would be finished. When his eyes met mine, I shot him a meaningful glance and said, "If Mr. Holon still intends to marry Ari, you better put your shoes back on. Are you trying to seduce someone with those sexy bare legs? The Bruce family won't accept a son-in-law with no shame." His face darkened, and he instinctively tucked his hairy legs back under the table. The wedding was temporarily postponed. The Ram and Bruce families decided to reconsider everything. Arian suddenly fell ill, for real this time. She'd gotten a fungal infection. What started as a few itchy spots turned into full-blown rashes, pus, and inflammation. Within 2 days, her entire face was wrecked. Who said pretty boys don't get athlete's foot? Her face was ruined. Arian felt too ashamed to go outside. She had no choice but to stay home. Arian used her mean girl system to paint herself as the victim. During that time, she deliberately made things difficult for the housemaid a few times, complaining that the food wasn't good, the cleaning was poorly done. She wanted to kick the housemaid out, someone who had always stood by the female lead side. Every time the female lead came home, the housemaid would take care of her. Their relationship was very close. Since Arian couldn't lay a hand on the female lead directly, she targeted the people around her instead. Anyone the female lead cherished, Arian wouldn't leave alone. If she could steal them, she would. If not, she'd find a way to drive them away. In the original storyline, Arian claimed she lost her silver necklace. She accused the housemaid of stealing it and had her thrown out of the Bruce family mansion. The moment the housemaid left, she was hit by a car. The female lead was devastated and fell into deep grief. Her mental state collapsed, and she could only sleep with the help of medication. Arian took that opportunity to fake medical reports, saying the female lead had a mental illness. She even brought in a doctor regularly to inject her with drugs. This was one of the reasons the female lead met such a tragic end. But good people should live. I had to help the housemaid. Arian approached me pretending to be innocent. "Big sister," she said, "my silver necklace that I left in the drawer is gone. Only the housemaid has been in my room. I want to search her room. You won't stop me, right?" Though she asked for my opinion, her feet were already standing in front of the housemaid's door. The original plot said, Arian searched the housemaid's room for a while. Then she pulled out a silver necklace from under the bed. The housemaid looked uneasy and nervous. I told her not to be afraid. I quickly edited the story, changing the word silver to gold. Now it read, she pulled out a gold necklace from under the bed. Arian stormed into the housemaid's room. She rummaged around under the bed for a long while and finally pulled out a necklace. She raised her chin smugly, but the moment she looked clearly at what was in her hand, her eyes went wide. "This can't be. Why is it gold?" She muttered in disbelief. Mother was called in to handle the situation. Her brows furrowed as she listened. Arian insisted that only the housemaid had entered her room, so the theft must have been her doing. But even now, she couldn't present any real proof. She had torn the housemaid's room apart, yet found nothing incriminating. For the first time, Mother began to feel that this adopted daughter of hers was being unreasonable, wrongfully accusing someone kind and loyal. To make it up to the housemaid, she granted her 2 days off. Before leaving the room, she gave Arian a cold glance, then turned and walked away. Even the one who had always doted on Arian was beginning to lose patience with her. Who knew how much longer Arian could keep stirring up trouble? I leaned against the wall with my arms crossed, letting out a cold, mocking laugh. That caught Arian's attention. She snapped out of her thoughts, glaring at me. "It was you. You're the one who tampered with it." My attitude of completely disregarding her clearly infuriated her. She spat venomously, "You bastard, just wait, soon you won't be able to laugh anymore." Before Mom could leave, Arian stepped in front of me. From an angle that was easy to misinterpret, she slapped herself hard across the face. I thought she had come up with some new trick, but nope, just the same old routine of self-inflicted suffering to frame me. How boring. If anything, it only made her look more pathetic. Sis. I'm sorry. I lost my temper and did something wrong. If you're still mad, you can slap me a few more times. Arian's cry echoed throughout the entire mansion. Mom came back. When she saw Arian's swollen face, she started hesitating again. Her heart began to soften. New storyline written, Arian activates her mean girl system. She weakly crawls into Mom's arms. Her pitiful demeanor stirs up Mom's compassion, causing her to be utterly disappointed in me and banish me to the cold, desolate old house. I replaced the word arms with crotch. Arian immediately shrank back, squatting on the floor. She crawled under Mom's tight, short skirt. Oh God, it was blinding to look at. Anyone who didn't know better might think a mental patient had escaped. Mom hurriedly asked Arian what on earth she was doing. Arian squirmed so much that she tore Mom's dress. Dad came home just in time to witness the scene. Everything he was holding fell to the floor. He rushed over to pull Mom away, and with a flick of his hand, slapped Arian twice. What a disgrace. What kind of sin have I committed to deserve this? Someone take her to the old house. And unless I give permission, no one is to let her out. Dad was determined. Arian was dragged away by the guards. As she cursed her system for being useless, my ability to alter the script suddenly upgraded, from replacing a single word to modifying entire phrases. Dad hosted a banquet. He said it was to announce my true identity, but in reality, he made the decision without even consulting me. At the banquet, he publicly announced an engagement with the Ram family. He declared that the person Holenram would marry was me. Holenram arrived late, holding Arian's hand. She had already activated her mean girl system. After hearing about her tragic story, Holen felt deeply sympathetic. He looked at me like I was trash. You vicious woman. You hid your own sister. What kind of person does that? With character like yours, you're not worthy of being my wife. Don't even dream about it. Who the hell wants to marry you? What a nightmare. Dad looked a little awkward. It was clear he wanted me to marry. He was afraid that if Arian ended up marrying into the Ram family, she'd go crazy and ruin the Bruce family's reputation. I said I didn't want to get married. Holenram snorted coldly and said, "Don't think you can pretend to reject me to win my favor. I've met plenty of women like you. What's wrong with you? Are you hallucinating or what?" The Ram family had a long-standing legacy in the arts, so they highly valued talent in their daughters-in-law. That's why Arian insisted on showing off her piano skills in front of everyone. Alright then, clearly you people came prepared, didn't you? Seems like all the humiliation from before wasn't enough for you. Since you're still testing your limits, I'll make sure you become famous this time. The original storyline wrote, Arian walked to the piano and placed both hands on the keys. She played the most difficult rhapsody with purity and clarity. I changed both hands to tongue. Arian walked over to the piano. Suddenly, she bent down and placed her tongue on the keys like a woodpecker pecking at a tree. She frantically hammered the keys with her tongue. Holenram stared at her crazed appearance, eyes wide, mouth agape. His entire face twisted into a grimace he couldn't smooth out. Arian's tongue-flicking speed quickly surpassed that of a woodpecker. We should definitely ban animal performances, but we can't stop an animal from insisting on performing. Everyone was so engrossed watching her that they forgot to even cheer her on. So I took the lead and clapped, praising, "Wow, little sis plays so well. Not even the best pianists in the world can match her tongue piano skills. The Ram family's daughter-in-law must be her. I'm out of this." The media rushed to snap photos and record footage. Arian instantly shot to the top of the hot search, stuck under negative news that wouldn't go away. Furious, she jumped up and down. The Bruce family was mocked because of her, so they admitted her to a mental hospital. She tried to use the mean girl system to fix the bad press, but the system said it was powerless. The mean girl system could only help her create opportunities to act pitiful, it couldn't alter reality. Enraged, she cursed at the system, spoke without restraint, and even said she wanted to sever ties with it. After that, I also firmly rejected the engagement between the Bruce and Ram families. There's no way I'm falling in love with some bottom-tier male lead, especially one with athlete's foot. My text rewriting system evolved once again. It could now edit entire sentences. But the system informed me of something else. Because I had interfered too much, the main plotline had changed and lost its original flow. From now on, I'd have to improvise and write the rest myself. No big deal, as long as I've got the system, I fear nothing. They'd better not provoke me, or I'll make sure they can't live in peace. But of course, what I feared still came true. Arian had already lost Holenram's interest after her public embarrassment. But now he started winking at me, grinning wickedly, and deliberately orchestrating chance meetings with me. He spoke in such a crude manner, I couldn't stand it. I'd already helped the female lead avoid every tragic plot point. But I still hadn't seen any news of me being officially welcomed home. Not long after I finished eating at the restaurant, on the way home, I started to feel feverish, my limbs weak. System, what's happening? The system popped out to explain, saying the original plot had just been rewritten. Arian escaped from the mental hospital and stalked me at the restaurant I frequently visited. She snuck into the kitchen and drugged my soup. What the hell? Why didn't you tell me earlier, system? The system, aggrieved, replied, I just found out about the new plot myself. At this time, Arian led some thugs to appear in front of me. She looked at me with gloomy eyes and asked me, you also have a system, don't you? Every time he was present, there was nothing good. With the same system, why do you have to steal my stuff? She doesn't understand who came first, and who came later. She also said I was a mistress, dividing her and Holenram. What did I steal? It was originally the heroine's stuff. She was the robber but also blamed the heroine. If she didn't use the system to do bad things in the first place, why is this? What bad things is she trying to do in her heart? Is she shameless? Moreover, I don't want a male lead with foot fungus. She found thugs to coerce me, ruining my honor. Make Holenram hate me. She smiled sinisterly, told me to slowly enjoy, and she stood next to me, holding the camera preparing to take a picture. My body is very weak now, I can't run anymore. Damn, taking her to the mental hospital is still too light. I hurriedly pressed the alarm button on my smartwatch, just waiting for police to come to save me. The new plot says, Arian ordered the thugs to take off Olivia's clothes. Olivia screamed and fainted. I changed the whole text sentence to, the thug took off Olivia's outerwear, inner jacket, sweater, hoodie, thermal jacket, pajamas, shirt, life jacket, tank top, sports bra, fitted bra, unwireless bra. After taking off her shirt, they took off her upright pants, overalls, harems, leather pants, jumpsuits, tights, leggings, protective underwear, triangle panties, t-shirt panties. I didn't protest. We took off each layer of clothes together. The clothes on my body are like Russian dolls, taking them off forever. They angrily questioned me, damn it, are you 100-year-old banyan tree? So many layers. Take it off so much that my hand is about to come out. Every time they take off a set, they throw it to the ground, to the point that the quantity is enough to sell, all styles. A new plot appeared again, Arian scolded the children. These useless people. Can you do it? If not, let me do this. This is a chance she gave me, I won't be polite. I changed the phrase, let me do it, to the phrase, enter me. Arian scolded the thugs angrily. These useless people. Can you do it? If you can't, rush into me. After saying this, her whole body was stunned. The thugs were also stunned. The thugs let me go, walked towards her with a disgusted face. Girl, then I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Arian wants to explain. But the words on the mouth cannot be uttered. She was about to run away but was grabbed by thugs and pressed to the ground. Arian struggled, constantly calling his system for help. Unfortunately, since she said she wanted to unlink, her system has completely disappeared. She panicked, even turned to me for help. Even digging for gold can't dig out this nerve. She was stripped by thugs until only her underwear was left. As soon as the thugs were about to give her a taste, the police came. It's so comfortable for her. The new plot says, Arian sees the police as a life buoy. She shouted, I am the victim, they are all bad guys, they cooperate to bully me. She blamed me again, wanted to harm me. I pointed to the surveillance camera on my head, the evidence appeared in front of the police. Her slander became meaningless to the evidence. Arian and the children must be sentenced to their crimes. After going to prison, she still begged the police to text, she said she wanted to see her parents. Unfortunately, her weak pretense no longer attracts anyone's attention. My parents also woke up and felt sorry for me, knowing that Arian bribed thugs and humiliated me. Her parents angrily asked the court to increase her sentence, including physical and spiritual damage the god she caused them before, prolonging her prison time. It's worth it. The mechanical voice of the system sounded, announcing that I had completed the mission. Ask me if I want to go back to the original world? I changed my mind. I used to plan to leave, but now, all professions have family businesses. Money is like a rushing river flowing back, endlessly rushing. I'm a rich man. What are you doing back? Working as a laborer? I want to enjoy this luxurious life. On the deck of the luxurious yacht, I hugged my pet dog to watch the stars. Surrounded by a group of handsome boys who are true to my aesthetic taste. The joy of life, I will enjoy it on behalf of everyone first. And that's the end of today's video. And once again, this video contains fictional horror content involving violence and crime themes. All characters and events are entirely fictional and created for storytelling and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. And that wraps up today's storytime video. Wolf thanks you all so much for supporting this content. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more storytelling videos from Wolf. See you next time.